Check 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going down, everybody? It's your good friend David Hayes. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. I gotta listen in real close to make sure I can be heard. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going down? Okay. All right, so I'm good to go. Welcome to Circle Talk this Saturday. I'm really excited for the 16th of April guest. This guy I've known for a little bit. We've been friends for a while. Worked together and talked about actually doing a lot of things outside of our 9 to 5 together as well. I've been fortunate enough to have some great conversations with him, not just on this platform of the circle, but just in life in general. We had a couple opportunities to talk about Thanksgiving, talk about his journey before, but we are jumping back in, and we're going to start from where we left off. So we're going to welcome Marquise Taylor into Circle Talk today. But before we get into that, we want to make sure that we give a shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, let's go ahead and thank iShotya.com. Thank you so much for being a part of this. If anyone locally lives in Washington, Tacoma, Lakewood, Parkland, Puyallup, Federal Way area, anywhere surrounding, and is looking for great pictures at a great price, all you have to do is look at my walls. You see some beautiful pictures of me and my kids. My good friend Marvin Patterson is the guy you want to get in contact with. He has a great price on his portraits and his packages. All you got to do is let him know I sent you, and he'll hook you up. So that's iShotya.com. Icon ENT, if anyone's looking for someone to create a life party that you'll never forget, my guy, Junior Thomas, is the guy that you want to ask for. He is an amazing person, and he always puts on some of the best shows that I've been to here in Washington. So if anybody's looking for someone to come and do some DJing, create a platform of professionalism, a good time, and everyone is going to remember, hit up my good friend Junior Thomas at Icon ENT, and he'll get you there and make it happen for you. Last but not least, the Chaya Movement. Shout out to my girl Zakia for continuing to provide excellence when it comes to turning rags into riches. If you've never heard of the Chaya Movement, make sure you guys go ahead and look that up. If you are looking for something locally that's going to benefit not only yourself, but the people surrounding, someone that is actually working hard to turn old clothes that you are storing in the back of your closets or your drawers, and you don't want to wear them no more, and you want to create something beautiful for people that aren't necessarily able to spend a ton of money on those type of things. Get in contact with Zakia. She is doing an amazing thing with turning rags to riches and then giving them back at a reasonable price. And sometimes if you don't have the money, she's willing to help a person out as well. So hit up Zakia at thechayamovement.com for more information on what she's doing and where she's going to be at her next show she's got going on. So without further ado, I don't want to keep him waiting. This is my guy. I'm really excited for our conversation. We got a lot of things to talk about. As y'all know, if I bring out the pad, then we got some things that we need to dig into. So welcome Marquise Taylor to Circle Talk.
Hey.
Let me say one thing before you get going, bro. I miss you, man. Where you been hiding? Where you been hiding at?
Hey, man, I'm right down. Believe it or not, I'm right down the street from you.
Yeah. So real talk. Last time we talked, I think the last time we talked, I was catching you. I was getting ready to leave, and you was just showing up to work, and you had told me that you had put in your 2 weeks, and you was getting ready to leave and pursue your thing, which was an amazing thing to hear in itself. I know we had plenty of conversations about making that step, but how's everything been going though with that?
It's been good. Yeah. I have not worked a 9 to 5 since November.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've had to transition from being in that structure to being my own scheduler, my own boss, literally.
Yeah, yeah,
My wife can attest to that.
yeah,
So it's been very different. It's been very different. So I'm getting
yeah,
used to that. And it's much better than when you first start.
yeah, yeah,
When you're in it for a while, it feels normal to feel a little pressure, a little manual laborish type of deal, and figuring this thing out. So it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
exciting.
Absolutely.
It's been exciting.
So, and that's a beautiful thing, man. Because we've had so many conversations, and I know if anybody would be successful, it would be you. I mean, just your intelligence you're a young cat, and just having conversations with you enlighten me and make me want to get back into my studies
Wow.
and broaden my education when it comes to just creating something that's going to be beneficial on every aspect of what you're doing. And so I commend you for your hard work and dedication to not just fitness, but educating people on their bodies and what it takes to create, muscle
Oh yeah.
and the whole nine. So I commend you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's jump into one thing that we have in common.
Yeah.
What do you miss most about Rainier?
Where can I start? I only talked to three people uh, from Rainier School. You, shout out to Gwen House, my work mom. She still
Shout out to
calls me
Gwen.
like
Yeah,
every 2 weeks. She calls me religiously, talks to me like
yeah,
I'm still there, which is hilarious.
absolutely.
And I talked to Melvin Selden, the nurse. We're really close. I actually train him, which is awesome. He's
That's
doing very
amazing.
well. What I miss the most probably would have to be just the camaraderie, really, the people there.
Yeah,
You build a lot of relationships on a ground that has 200 plus employees. I think we're somewhere like 700 or 900.
yeah, yeah,
Between all three shifts. You never know who you're going to meet. I mean, you meet people in my age group, I think, which had started happening before I left. A lot more younger people started coming there and working
yeah,
and, looking for a career because you can do that in the state anywhere, which if you don't know that, now for the people
yeah,
out there. But yeah, I'd say I miss the people.
yeah,
The job is always interesting.
yeah,
It takes a certain human to be able to do that type of work and keep the compassion and not get frustrated with the things day and day. But I do miss that. I think about it all the time
mhm,
because I think I formed some pretty good connections. Even people I don't talk to, consistently.
yeah,
Some days I'm like, man, that person was so interesting. But
yeah,
I had
yeah,
good nights. I
yeah,
had some good nights. I miss. Sometimes I miss the drive out there. The 30, 40 minute drives. Um,
yeah,
Honestly, people don't get it, but when you work night shift, you don't really get sleep. You can never sleep enough or this, that, and the third. But it's something about that long drive at night where you just kind of in your own thoughts. You're, getting ready for the 8 hour shift, and then you go back and you're in your thoughts again, and you're doing the same thing.
mhm,
I miss that sometimes. I do. It
yeah,
might sound weird
abs-
to people, but you wouldn't understand unless you had to do it. Uh,
absolutely.
so I think that would be some of my most missed things. I would say about Rainier School.
I have to ask this too because I've worked with you a few times on a few different houses, and the
Uh,
one thing that I know about you is that you're always up. You're never down.
yeah,
And that's hard to say from someone that's working night shift, that
yeah,
they're always uppity, always moving, always smiling, always dedicated to the job. Like
right.
you, that guy on graveyard shift, that I would say, ding, he's the one. have
Good.
you ever fallen asleep, even if it's just for a hot second? Have you ever sat down and just hit that head bob one time?
You're trying to put me on the hot seat now. I see. Man, let me tell you how it is. I've fallen asleep plenty of times, y'all. That's graveyard shift. Don't get me started on David doing the 16-hour, 12-hour shift, man.
Too much.
Knocked out. He's trying to act me. But most definitely, I mean, it's the nature of the job. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, you know how it is at night. Nothing's
Yeah.
happening. Ain't nothing.
Right. Right.
Maybe you go do some laundry. I have my fair share.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm just that type of person though. You can
Yeah.
only do that so many times until you're like, okay, let me get myself up. And then working with Gwen, she's always up. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
that rubs off on you. You feel like you got to get up too.
Yep.
So that's all it was really.
Yeah.
As far as like the attitude, that's just me. Matter of fact, one of my clients asked me the other day, and she said, "Are you always like this?" I'm like, honestly, yes.
Hmm.
Honestly, until I go to sleep, and then I wake up the same way. Something's wrong with me, but I
Yeah.
just feel good. So
That's awesome.
because of that, that's just how I react to most things. You can ask my wife; it never ends. It's never ending. Like that's
That's
just who I
awesome.
am, and I plan to stay like that because I
Yeah.
don't really have much to be sad about. Not saying life is perfect every day, but I mean it could be worse. So
Absolutely, and that's a great thing about watching you at a young age. You're a very young man, and just your dedication to everything that you do. You don't slack off. You ain't one of those people that just come on and just say, "I'm a lollygag around, and then I might do some work later." You get in there and gets it done. How has the transition, like really detailed? How has the transition been? To work that last day, and then the next day it's all maximum potential.
yeah, well, here's how I put this because people don't actually know my story fully. Okay,
Okay.
so when I first had a concept of having a business, I did like an affiliate business for free for like 2 years. I didn't make any money, none.
Right.
But I began to get that fire down in me of what if I could though. Now this was just trying to sell some protein, and I thought I was doing something. I really wasn't. I was in this program; it wasn't working for me. I hated it 100%. But I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
having fun with the fact that there's a way that I could make money from like fitness, you know.
Yeah.
And so for 2 years, I just tried to do my best to train people for free, and it worked for a while. But then eventually, I'm like, I don't know if I like this model. It's not for me because I'm
Right.
selling someone else's product. I believe that my maximum potential sidebar, it is me. This is who I am. So I came up with the concept sitting in my mom's in the room of my mom's house one day. I'm like, I'm gonna make a business called Maximum Potential.
Hmm.
Know nothing about nothing. Okay.
Right.
So after that is when I actually was like, I can make this a business after being with this financial organization who helped pay for my business license, this, that, and the third. And so after that, I realized, okay, yeah, I can. I think me and my wife were dating at the time, or we were like friends. I'm not sure. Which is funny. She's actually been there every step unknowingly, which is awesome. And when I was working at Rainier for 4 years, I had already been
Hmm.
doing this. Every year I was trying to figure out, well, you know, David, I was trying to figure out how can I get out of this eventually and
Yeah.
run a business, a company by myself. So
Right.
for
Right.
4
Right.
years working night shift, and I finished 2 years of my associate's degree all at the same time. And I'm like, okay, how can I do this? So on those night shifts, I was sitting there trying to build a strategy of how I'm going to do this. How am I going to make this happen?
Hmm.
I can share this information because I want people to know what it really takes. I paid $10,000 for a course, scared out of my mind because I had to take a personal loan. Never did that before. I'm like, shoot, I'm not telling nobody nothing. Like, I'm
Right.
not
Right.
telling it. She's gonna think I'm crazy. She's gonna tell me don't do it. Some things you just can't fully say until it happens.
Absolutely.
So as I was doing that, I was still working out right there. Keep in mind, I'm doing all this simultaneously. And once I went through that course and began to learn how to make this business, how to structure this, how to get the payments processors, how to build a training program that can sell enough to make a, it was game on. I'm like, bro, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still not perfect though, right? Because I'm still trying to learn who I am, what I'm worth. Am I good enough? Because I wasn't then. And that's the reality we have to face. Sometimes we're just not good enough, and that's okay. You don't
Yeah.
have to start with the perfect canvas here. So after I did that, I'm still working at Rainier. It wasn't until, listen to me, guys, it wasn't until this year, coming into this year, I said, I really quit. Like, I'm going to do this full scale. November, when I quit Rainier, what people don't know is I actually worked at the post office for 5 months.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. That's interesting.
I
I
quit
didn't know
Rainier
that.
because I was trying to get a day job at Rainier, but with COVID and everything, they locked it all up. I mean, I was going to go to ATP, David. I was going to go to ATP. I was going to use my associates, go to ATP. You already know you're going to make more money on ATP. You're going to have a different schedule,
Absolutely.
or weekends off, holidays off. That's the dream at Rainier School. That is the literal dream. Any state job. But it just wasn't coming. Me and my wife were newly married, and she had been home on night shift for 8 months. I'm like, I have to do something. This is not going to work. We're newlyweds. Like, I need to be home, bro. You know.
Yeah. You got to spend some time.
Couldn't work. And so I'm a Christian man. I pray to God for pretty much virtually everything you can think about. My thing is, should I stay here or should I go? I don't know. You know. So I left. I quit Rainier School, pinching everything. I'm like, I got to go. And I went to the post office. My wife asked me, are you sure you want to go there? Here I go. Yeah, I want to go there. I'll get all the overtime, blah, 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 blah. I'm still working on my business. Keep this in mind. I'm still trying to figure out how can I. And so I worked at the post office for 5 months. Absolutely hated it. It was terrible. Gruesome. Oh, my gosh. Going from shift to the post. Boy, I tell you, I have respect for my mailman. Especially Tacoma, because it's all walking routes. Y'all don't know nothing about them walking routes. And so, so here's what happened, though. As I was working at Rainier School, I was working at the post office. I was working on my business. And I was like, I want to not only have my online side, I want my in-person side, but I can't do it if I'm here. And it got so bad that eventually I said, I'm going to have to jump now. I think I'm at the point where if I don't jump now, I probably won't ever at all.
Right.
Succeed or fail.
Yep.
I'm that type of guy. I'm not scared to fail. If I fail, I really don't care because I don't hold people's opinions very high. I mean, my wife, of course, if she has a bad opinion about me, then I'm in a bad place. Okay. But she was on board this whole time. Finally, to make a long story short, I quit the post office on site because they have immediate termination. They have 2 weeks, and you can still do it without burning your bridge. It's just a rule they have there, I guess. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start my personal training business.
It is.
You're going to start your what? 0 clients. Didn't have any. 0.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like in Christmas, keep in mind, Christmas is coming. So
yeah, right.
Bro, I'm living off a reserve right now. Be honest. I was living off of reserves, money saved. Like, I'm scared as a man, a young man, with a wife, just bought a house. I'm scared. Like, if this does not go right, I'm going to be in some deep trouble.
Yes.
But I'm the type of guy, either it's going to push you or it's going to make you sink. I'm just the type of guy that rises above the occasion every time. And I don't even realize I've done it. And up till now, it's normal now. I 5 days a week, I maybe work 10 hours, maybe, depending on what my client load is.
For sure.
It's growing, and I believe it's going to go to the next level. My advice before I hand it back over, David, is sometimes you just got to jump. I mean, honestly, if this is what you have to do, this is your passion, it's what you have to do. It will work. And even if it doesn't, because I can't say it for everybody, you tried. And I'm the type of guy, when I die, I want to say I've done all I can to be fulfilled in this life. And David, you know, I was literally talking to you almost 2.5 years ago on your couch.
Yeah.
About this. This is what makes it so crazy. I was telling people this stuff, and it's actually happening. I mean, so that's the synopsis.
That's facts right there, you guys. That's facts. Literally, over at the crib, we was chilling, having our conversation, talking about what we needed to do, what he was going to do, and here it is. It's all coming into fruition right now, making it happen. So, shout out to that. That'll be in that bag right there. Sorry, I forgot to plug my laptop in, so my daughter just came in to grab it for me and help Dad out before it dies on you. But hey, we just gonna keep it rolling. So I wanted to touch on marriage because you guys have been married for how long now?
A
About
year.
a
Year
year,
out.
about a
Year
year.
out.
Shout out to wifey and everything. How's that been going for you guys?
Marriage is good.
Yeah.
Now, hold on, y'all. When I say good, I'm not saying the cliche. Oh, it's going great. I mean, no problems. Oh,
Thank you.
we've had some problems.
Yeah.
Quite seriously, we have. But when I say good, what I mean is even in the rough days, because we have those, we're still growing. And
Yeah.
we know, me and my wife, because we're young, we understand both on the same page that we need help. And when we need help, we act for help. There's a lot of couples out there, even not in their 20s, 30s maybe, they don't ask
Mhm.
for help. Like if you have a problem in your marriage, ask for help and go to people that have done this thing. I mean, we have people that help and serve us that's been at this game for 30 years. They're in
Yeah.
healthy marriages. We have a couple we're gonna see 56 years. It's like, how'd you make it man, they be loving on each other. So to me, it's like we're doing good because we know how to ask for help, not because we got this thing buckled down. I don't believe that even 10 years from now we'll have this
Right.
buckled down. But when the rough times come, we ask for help. Being young and married is very different because you see your same young friends, still living that single life, still doing their thing. You
Yeah.
have a lot of criticism and scrutiny sometimes, like, why would you do that? But what I come to realize is, okay, even in church world in the community, we have these, older people and stuff, but who aren't married still. And it's almost like there is I can't find the word, but there's a dark cloud that covers, like you're locking yourself up. Now, I've never been a guy, and I'm just going to be honest. I've always been a guy that when I get in a relationship, I'm loyal to the relationship. I've made this commitment to this relationship for a reason. And
Hmm.
just the way my heart is postured and to God, I feel like I've actually grown more as a man. Out of my marriage came a business. I would not
Yeah.
have, if I was single and I'm just being 100% off because of how my brain works and the way I can limit motivation, that wouldn't have happened. My wife, she's
Right.
cheer coaching, she's her job as well. We're well, our relationship, we're growing as friends in the marriage.
That's
We
cool.
both are in Christ. Like things like that, you won't really experience when you haven't really taste that type of thing. So I'm excited for our marriage. I don't think we've declined at all. If anything, we've increased and learned more about each other, both the good parts and the bad.
That's amazing. Shout out to wifey, and you guys' marriage. So how's the fam though? Let's talk about the fam. How's the family been doing?
The family's good.
Brother good, brother good.
My brother is doing awesome. He's almost done with his master's degree out of UW.
Hey.
He just got an internship at the VA, which is federal agency for you guys know vets, and because he's studying more of the psychology side, social work,
Hmm.
he'll have a nice doorway in to help veterans with their psychological disorders, which is a great career.
Absolutely.
And it takes time, it's gruesome, but I believe he will be in there. And my brother loves stability and all those sorts of things. So I'm sure he'll get his foot in there and move up how he needs to. As far as my mom has graduated with her master's, actually. She just finished early childhood early education. She's been doing it for over 20 years, and she's looking to take it to the district. So praying that
Nice.
she does that. I mean, she deserves it. I've
Absolutely.
seen her from the mud to the not even the lead teacher in the classroom, all the way up to supervisor and all sorts of stuff. So we
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
trip planned in May for that to celebrate her at her ceremony in Arizona. My father's doing well. They actually got a new house in the summer, so they're living.
That's cool. They doing great.
Hey, as far as my other brothers, they're doing good. As far as my wife's family, her grandpa worked post office and military, but the combined
Yeah.
of 40 years. So he's getting ready to retire and he's excited. Her grandma works in the school district. She's having a blast just to do something to help the community. And as far as her siblings, they're all still young. So they're
Right.
all going through, the school system.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we're doing well.
Awesome. That's good to hear. So let me ask you a question about maximum potential
Yes.
fitness. For those that don't know, that's this young man's uh, it's his baby. He has created a platform where he is helping people build in all aspects of health
Right.
and wellness. If you guys need any questions or have any questions, I will make sure that he gives you all the information at the end about it. But the ups and downs. Tell us a little bit about any downs and how have you been finding what are you doing to get yourself back up after these downs? Because I'm sure during this process there have been those rough days that you're like, man, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it through this. I may have to get me another 9 to 5. What have you done mentally to stay focused?
Man, oh, that's a good question. We'll start with the downs. Okay. Get them out
Okay.
the way. The downs are not the downs are not synergistic in terms of I have not necessarily had money problems. I'll say that. And I think that's just because of my grit, my heart. Like
Hmm.
I will find a way because
Right,
I love
right.
to do it. But I'd say the downs are more the fear of if is my biggest problem. The thing that makes me a candidate, and not to boast or be prideful, but I think the thing that makes me a candidate to be a good businessman or leader in any sense is even in the face of my fear or my mental blocks, I still find a way to push forward. I don't second guess my actions. I don't, oh, is this a good idea? No. I move forward, and that's what makes me good at doing what I do. Is you would never be able to tell that I'm having a rough time in the business.
Hmm.
I just don't think I just have the persona to never make you believe that, even if all is going to hell. Like,
Right, right, right.
because there's something in me that says, you know what, it's not that bad. I'll figure it out. And so not only that, I have my wife who always helps me because I'll have self-disqualifying comments like, "Oh man, I wish I could," or I'll have a moment where I compare myself to somebody, even if I'm playing around subconsciously. It's not healthy, right? But we're human; it
Yeah.
happens. And she just lifts me up by saying, "Hey man, like, why would you even say that? You're doing good." And so
Yeah.
that helps a lot. And that's what she sees that other people don't see, right? And I'm grateful for that. Thirdly is God, prayer,
Hmm.
staying rooted in my faith. Now, faith does not get you money. Faith does not mean you're going to have a business that's going to be $1 million a year. And that's not faith. Faith is trusting that God will provide for you even if it doesn't go well. See, even
Hmm.
if the business fails, I'll still be provided for. It might not be in the context of what I want, but it's what I need. Now, since I
Hmm.
have that faith, it opens a door to actually have the enjoyment of the fruits of my labor, such as a business at 24 years old, because now I have the idea, the faith, the knowledge, the trust in God that He's going to take care of me because He's giving me a concept that works.
Hmm.
Taking all that and putting it together, you have a thriving situation here.
Right.
And so when the downtimes come, or I'm trying to figure out, okay, I'm doing my financials, and okay, how am I? Okay, I have to make this much a month to do this and do that. Those are downtimes because now
Right.
you're trying to figure out how am I going to make this work to where it's a good ecosystem. So what has to happen then is I have to be a good steward of the money. I have to be a good steward of the business. I have to track
Hmm.
the financials. It's not so dark anymore after that. And so I think my darkest time was in November. I was very scared. I was very scared. When I quit the post office, I knew that it was the right move, but at the same time, I was scared
The
because I
unknown.
wanted to figure out how am I going to do this before the first mortgage is due, or you got what I'm saying? How am I going to
Yeah.
figure out how these lights are going to stay on? How are me and my wife? But the thing about me and my wife, I love her to death. We are a team. Like
Yeah.
we
Absolutely.
sat down, we came up with a plan. We planned for 6 months before anything even ever happened. So the good faith I had was that
Hmm.
despite what's happening, I have a plan. And so that was the darkest time. Now it's just normal for me of what I'm doing. Seriously, it feels completely normal. You're always going to have pressure and all that good stuff. The good thing I will say about everything that has happened, I'm seeing people's lives change.
Yeah.
I really am seeing people's lives change. Not only that, I'm becoming known for what I do, and not just fitness, but through the motivation, through it's like a ministry. Like, and so I'm seeing that, and that gives me hope. Like, I always know there'll be the next 5 people walking through the door for help, training. Like, I'm in a place now where I know I'll never have to break my neck to find clients. They're going to keep coming.
Right.
They're going to keep coming because it's good services. And so I would say that's the good and the bad. That's the good and the bad.
Okay. That's good answers. Good answers. So let's jump into, because you said one of the things that you is your main focal point in what you do is your faith. How important is staying rooted to faith, and when people try to stir you from your faith, what is the one thing that you always fall back on? Like one of the main things. I mean, it could be the Bible, it could be your dad, it could be your wife. What is one thing that you always bring to the table when something is pulling you the opposite way?
Okay. Okay. You're getting the faith talk, so you're going to get me fired up. I'm excited. What people have to understand is that when it comes to faith in God, it has to be your own belief. What I mean is this: people think that because I grew up in church um, that means that automatically you're going to be engrafted. No, I've done stuff, okay, that
Yeah.
are not Christian-like.
Right.
And the thing about it is that just because your parents have raised you in the this and that, you still have to make your own decision. And
Yeah.
so my wife does not keep me grounded in God. My father, my mother, my pastor, not at all. Because if they fell one day, hey, you can't trust
You're
them.
gonna jump with him?
You got what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
So the thing that keeps me grafted in faith, keeps me certain that God is real, and that nothing will really sway me, is my own relationship, my own time. Diving into the Word, praying, understanding that God has saved me. He has allowed me to live. I almost died when I was a baby. That's enough for me to say, "Hey, thanks, God. You can
Yeah.
have my allegiance here." And so, what I want people to realize is, if you don't have your own relationship, quite honestly, you're always going to be swayed anyway. And it's something for you to know, is that you must know God. Rather, it's through the Bible, through church. No, I say you need to know Him through your own experiences. Because some of us in the world, we shouldn't be here today.
Right.
And there's nothing but the grace of God that keeps
Absolutely.
us here.
Absolutely. Speak on that.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just a curveball, just because I was thinking about it. I really wanted you to kind of touch on your journey on alopecia. But
Yes.
before we get into that, what is your take on Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and the Chris Rock situation? How'd you feel when you heard about it?
Man.
And just give me your thoughts on that real quick.
Okay. So here's my thing. I'm really not mad at Will Smith that he slapped him,
Hmm.
because if somebody was to talk about my wife or anything, I'm a really nice guy. I love everybody, but that would probably make me do something more than slap you. Like,
Right.
I'm just being real. Like, I might have to hunt you down,
Right.
you know?
But he's a comedian, though. That's his job. He's
I
paid
know, I know,
to
I
be
know.
on stage. You buy those tickets in the front row and know that this is going to happen.
Right, right. Which is going to take me to my second point. Now, like I said, I'm not mad about the slap. Any man should protect his wife. Blah, blase, blase.
Right, right.
Now, my second thing is he's a comedian. Like, these guys, their jokes are to, like, get under you. Like, that's their
Yeah.
job, and they're never gonna stop until, honestly, they're dead.
Right.
And my third point is, above all else, self-control, man. Like, you could have handled that so differently outside of the show, and it would have been okay. Like, and that's my thing. As a man to a man, like you don't slap a man and publicly embarrass him. Like men
Absolutely.
don't do that. Like we really women do that. They cat fight and all that jazz. Men don't do that. So it's really awkward when you see somebody at the pinnacle of their career as an icon, as a legend almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
do an act that you would see like high schoolers do. That's sad. And if
Yeah.
you don't have enough control to restrain yourself on a grand stage like that, you don't need to be there. And that's what they did. People are mad for it. I'm not. It's not professional. And who's to
Yeah.
say you won't do it again? So that's my take on it.
Do you think Will Smith forgot where he came from because he was
Mm.
a part of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air? He was a comedian at one point himself. So for him to get upset about something that he used to do to plenty of people and get paid for, don't you think that's kind of weird? The whole scenario on it. I mean, because for me, I'm just like, this has to be staged because Will tells jokes. He used to tell jokes all day, every day. Every series we watch, he's telling jokes. Now all of a sudden, he's getting mad about people telling jokes. It was. What do you think about that?
I think something's wrong with Will Smith right now. I think they're having some really bad marriage issues. I think there's some unresolved past hurts. Jada Smith is cool and all, but if you watch a lot of her interviews, something's not right with her. I
Mhm.
don't know if it's a narcissistic or it, just something dark. I
Yeah,
really believe that, and I don't like to talk about anybody's children or nothing, but you can even see in their kids like something's just it's not right. And
yeah,
it's not about their orientation or that they both, maybe gay or not that. It's like it's the mannerisms in all this crazy stuff these people are doing. And I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this family? What's wrong with this
right,
relationship? That
hmm,
scares me truly. And I
right,
think that's what we seen that night because there's more stuff. Like I said, if you watch interviews with Jada and all that, maybe you'll get what I'm saying a little bit more. But I don't know. And that's the thing about Hollywood, man. People try to look all they got it together, and those guys be struggling just like average humans, if not more,
yeah,
because of,
absolutely,
you got what I'm saying.
yeah,
So
absolutely,
I don't know,
absolutely.
man. They need help.
Yeah, and all you can do is pray for him because
Right.
I'm like you. I definitely feel like something ain't right in this brother's mind. I mean, he is
Yeah.
one of the greatest that we've seen. You know,
Right.
at least top three,
Yep.
maybe top five we've ever seen on the stage on the screen. And for him to be taken and put into that position where he stepped out of his comfort zone of being a man, a strong man that is an idol, like you said.
Right.
It was really sad, and it really makes you wonder what's going on.
What's wrong?
And yeah, and if they seriously getting help because they talk about getting help,
Right.
but if you're going to a friend of yours to and your friend is a counselor,
Uh huh.
you're not necessarily getting the help necessarily needed that you really need because this is a friend or this is a colleague or somebody you work with. It's always good to step out of that comfort zone and have someone else come in and tell you from the outside and give you the true and real advice that you need. I mean, so that's
Right.
just my opinion. That's our opinion. I just really wanted to talk about that because this ventures into our conversation about the question about alopecia and your journey through it. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So tell us about when you first found out how the struggle was for you.
Yeah, man. Alopecia's a beast.
Hmm.
Now I'm a guy, so it's not as bad as if I was a girl. If I was
Right.
a, this would suck, man. Um, for me, alopecia was never really identified until maybe I was in hmm, maybe like sixth grade, maybe. That's when it really ramped up. But
Mhm.
all through um, elementary school, when I look back now, I'm like, oh yeah, I had alopecia, early signs, but like I still had hairs, getting haircuts always, line up. You know, I
Yeah.
was a little kid. It probably wasn't until third grade I probably got my first spot. And I think what people don't understand about alopecia is anxiety and stress speeds it up.
Mhm.
So what was already there may have been stressed even more because I moved schools. So I was really leaving like, my best friend, Darius Gibson. Shout out to my boy in South Carolina, my friend Shavor is down there in Florida now. My boy Sean. I mean, that was my guys. We were friends.
Mhm.
It's like, dang, I'm leaving my friends to go to a new school. I'm seeing, Hispanic people. Like
Yeah.
on base, you don't see Hispanic kids. It's literally white kids and Asian kids,
Oh
mainly
wow.
white kids. I was the only black kid in my class, but on base, that's normal.
Yeah.
So I have my, going from that and seeing like a bunch of Hispanic people and they're talking I'm like, dude, you got to get me out. Take me back to McCord, man. I miss my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when that happened, I think that really sped up what I already had. By the time sixth grade came, it was just a devastation. We went to the doctor. Hey, what's going on? Oh, your son has alopecia. What the heck is that? We've never heard of it. What is that? You
Right.
know, I've never seen it in her family like that. I mean, her aunt, but like that's her aunt, like not
Yeah.
her immediate. And after that, they said there's nothing we can do. We can try this, that, and the third. They tried for years, but I was like, you're not touching his head. And really, just all through middle school, I battled that, and I was always the smallest kid in the room,
Mhm.
so it didn't help.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I still have friends though; they were nice. No one was like rude in school. I became the bald kid in middle school, but after a while, it was just quite normal. I mean, I always felt like embarrassed deep down, but
Mhm.
externally, people were nice to me. In high school, same thing. I mean, sophomore year, all my hair grew back, which is crazy, right? I'm
Wow.
like, whoa, it's back. Yes. I mean, I was getting cuts and everything, but the craziest part is
What's that?
I still didn't feel good. That's crazy because I'm like, I have it, but I don't really see it in the mirror.
Mhm.
Like, I feel good, but I don't see it on myself. I still feel. So once it left again, it was kind of devastating, but I kind of felt myself again.
Yeah.
And after high school, man, once I started working out, that changed my whole entire perspective on, man, this is not that bad. Once I got this new canvas, this new shell, it helped
Yeah.
my confidence come back. I'm like, I might be bald, but I'm big too, so I'm good. Like big guys
I
are bald
might.
anyway. So I'm like, hey, straight
True.
up,
True.
I can live like this. So 6 years later, when I first started in July 2016, uh, I wouldn't really change a thing at this point.
Okay. So let's say Jada's watching this right now and she's kind of going through, she's been going through it as well, but I think she's kind of got it at a later time in her life. What is something that you're going to say to her right now as she's going through it to kind of get her out of her dark space?
It's hard, man. It's hard because she's famous.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
she's she's filthy rich,
Yeah.
and she's famous.
Yeah.
So people probably don't look at her like they would a normal woman who doesn't have any hair.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's Jada Smith. Girl, you rocking that. Like,
Right.
yeah. And so I don't
Because the
know,
name.
huh?
Do you think it's because of the name that people are like, "Oh, you're rocking that"? If she was an average
Yes.
woman, then she would just be an average woman.
Yes. Yes.
You think
Because
people would talk down to her because she's an average woman versus Jada
100%.
Smith?
100%.
Okay, okay. So think about it. You say that she's probably thinking that. What are you gonna say to her
I
to
want to.
keep her out of that dark spot?
I would have to tell her that you with alopecia, you have to come to your senses that this is just what it is. And then my thing is, it's hard to say this, give somebody a solution because everybody's very different.
Yeah.
For me, being a guy who's been into muscle building, my first response is go to the gym. Well,
Mm,
why should I go to the gym? Build body. My motto is control something you have the power of. Alopecia will never stop these gains from coming. So
right.
I got power now. Like I can control something. For her, I would say find something you can control as long as it doesn't harm you. You know,
Absolutely.
and despite her riches, to tell yourself daily affirmations. I look good. Like I've had to do that. Stand in the mirror,
Mhm.
you look good. And you may not believe it the first couple times, but sometimes that's okay. Do it a
Yeah.
couple times.
Right.
That'd be my
Absolutely.
advice,
That's
probably.
great advice. Great advice. Always find something beautiful to say about yourself. It may not be you having a bunch of hair. It might be your smile. You look great today. I love how your smile is working.
Let me say
Uh
this. Sorry, David, not
what's
to
that?
cut you off.
No, go ahead. You get
My wife's grandma has alopecia. Okay,
okay.
she just shaved her whole head. It's dead serious. She's like, I'm sick of it. My
Yeah.
grandma-in-law is probably one of the most greatest people because the way she handled it, unreal.
Mm,
Un I mean, she wears that head. And
mm,
the craziest part about it, it's like nothing ever really changed because
yeah.
just that lady, like, and she's one of those ladies. Like, even if you try to get on her, she's like, well, okay. Like, man, it's crazy. And what's cool is now it's like, because we're all in the same family. It's like me and her. I'm like, hey, let's get it. And
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
and that's what I would have to tell people is like, man, you just got
Yeah.
to at some point you just got to be like, man, I can't do nothing about it. I'm just going to rock it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just rock it and make the most of it. You
exactly.
know what I'm saying? You got to, because I mean, it is what it is. It's like you said, you can't stop it. Let it do what it do and keep it pushing. You
Yes.
know, So that's interesting. So let's talk about what's next. What's going on with you next, man? Maximum potential. What you got going on with it next? Anything big that we can look forward
Woo.
to? What you got going on this month? Any specials? Talk to us. Talk to us.
Oh man, it's so crazy you asked that. Every day is building towards something. I think the next biggest thing is going to be trying to get a building
Yeah.
that's what we're working towards. Working towards a building. Now, is it going to be studio style? I don't know. Is it going to be a gym where we're going to get members, which probably I'm going to do.
Right.
Just give back to Tacoma, and build something that's going to put Tacoma on the map. Because let me say this, all right, I'm not arrogant or prideful, but I'm about being the best and beating my competition,
Absolutely.
because that's just who I am. So if I build something brick and mortar, it's not
Mm,
just for money; it's to be the place. Like, have you ever been
absolutely.
to that gym? No, you got to go. Like that's me. So that's the next step. As far as training right now, training is $40 an hour. Like this is a good time before pricing goes up again. We
Right.
still have online coaching. We're still. I'm about to start, getting these shirts printed out, giving them to clients, giving them to surrounding people, trying to mail it out and ship them. Like the biggest thing I say right now is just come get trained. You
Yeah.
will not regret it. As far as like special packages, working on getting special packages along with the new pricing. By the way, guys, starts in May, so you kind of want to get in while it's low. And my thing is, man, come and get. Listen, people I train, I their lives are changing. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And be a part of that tribe.
Yep. And I've seen a couple of people that you have been working with and some of the transformations that have been happening, and it's working. And I'm proud, man. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing it. I mean, I definitely see it. I see the potential. Forgot to use
Ah,
that. Forgot to
there
throw
you
that in
go.
there.
It's the slogan.
So I got one more question before we get out of here, but this one might be the most important one to anybody that's watching. What is your take on Easter?
Wow. Well, man, Easter is such a good day. Um, Now, I'm just going to tell you guys, theologically, Jesus did not rise on Sunday in April. Okay.
Mhm.
It's symbolism.
Yeah.
But what people have to realize is Easter is more than the day, it's the week. Um, Jesus' ministry started when he was 30, and it lasted 3 years. And before he dies, it's a week long process from the Garden of Gethsemane as he gets arrested.
Mhm.
The Roman soldier's ear gets chopped off, and he does one of his final miracles where he puts it back on.
Mhm.
Um, and his disciples see him go away. He goes to the Sanhedrin court. If you guys don't know what the Sanhedrin is, it's the council for the Pharisees that was taking place back in that time.
Mhm.
The Romans had rule over Jews, but the Jews had their own system of law. And their law was abiding by the covenant, the old law of the covenant in the Old Testament. I know I'm speaking some theology here, but and Pharisees hated Jesus because of what he did, what he was doing. He was
Mhm.
different, but he was following the laws of God. And Jesus was prophesied years coming into the world.
Mhm.
And so they wanted him arrested for breaking the law. And so after the quartet came, they went on to all this. They just beat him to death. Where you get to the scripture, for your stripes we are healed. And so after that, he gets on the purple robe. So kings in the Old Testament wore a purple robe because the purple robe resembles royalty. But they were mocking him, which is why they put a
Yeah.
crown
Yeah.
of thorns on his head to
Mhm.
say the prickly thorns means that you're worth nothing, but you're just a worthless king. That's basically what the crown of thorns in the robe represents, worthless king.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and to see him go, and they let Barabbas loose, who was a murderer, a rapist. But Jesus said, let him go. It's fine. And
Yeah.
then to speed up and to see him give his life on a cross. And if you guys don't know, crucifixion is one of the lowest ranking. Like, people who get crucified are the worst of the worst, worthless scum. But
Right.
it's like Jesus didn't do anything. But remember, he took on the sins of the world. And that's
Absolutely.
why he even took the worst penalty in that time. So when
Mhm.
I look at Easter, it's a man who was wrapped in flesh, who was all God in the flesh,
Mhm.
incarnate,
Yeah.
and said, I'm going to die for these worthless people, sinful people. And the craziest part is we still sin today. So it's
Yeah.
like, who does that? I'm not doing that for anyone.
Right. Right.
And then to see him say, this temple will be destroyed and rose in 3 days, he was talking about his body.
Mm.
And to see someone who keeps that promise, raises in 3 days, and quite literally proves himself, the whole thing was proven. So to me, Easter represents regeneration
Yeah.
through a man who laid down his life. And I hold dear to that. It's not just the Easter Sunday, it's every year,
Right.
every day. When you were at your worst state, someone said, I'll die for you.
Yeah.
That's deep, man. And when you really think about it, in most religions, philosophically, theologically, you don't see that.
Right.
People might say, "Oh, Greeks." No, no, no. You really don't see that to that
Yeah.
caliber, and
No.
so
You
it
don't.
makes being a Christian very special. And I think Easter should teach us to lay our life down. for a
Mm,
friend, because those who lay their life down for a friend truly does love them.
facts. Amen to that. If y'all missed the conversation, trust me, y'all need to rewind and hear that again, because that was some knowledge for all of those out there that are trying to figure out this whole idea of what is Easter really about. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's kind of something that I spoke on. I was speaking on yesterday when it comes to just enjoying the kids, and obviously they go to these Easter egg hunts and they get these chocolate bunnies and all this and that. Are you teaching them the true meaning behind it, or are you just following the path that has been provided to you?
Exactly.
Because I mean, I'm like you. I was growing up in a church. My mom's used to take us to church every Sunday, every Friday. I mean, matter of fact, I went to church so much. I mean, we had no days off. It was no days off. Because I started off, church school, and then, obviously my mom was in the choir, and
Right.
then Sundays we was in church, and so it was a all
Wow.
day thing. But for me, I think just the idea that you know he died for us
Yeah.
when and he didn't have to, but God said it's going to happen. He's going to send his son to relieve us of all the sins that we continue to commit
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again, and all we have to do is say yes. And I mean, for me, it's such an amazing story, and it's one of the um, um, realest things that I know when it comes to the Bible is that this man was pure,
Hmm.
practically pure,
Yep.
come from God. And like you said, he got crucified and with the lowest of the lowest, and he said he'll be back. And he did exactly that, came back and gave us another shot at being with him at the end of this journey on this earth. So thank you so much for that history lesson. And thank you for the stories. I'm so happy that you are still doing your thing, man.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for what's to come with Maximum Potential. I need one of those shirts. I said it once, I'll say it again.
Give me a shirt. Give me a shirt.
I'm a medium, but I'm wearing large right now because I'm trying to get big, like you.
Come on, bro.
Let's go.
Large, large. Look, my dad used to live back in the day. He was massive. People don't really believe it, but
Yeah.
he was. And he told me when I first started, he's like, man, take the tight shirts off, because I used to wear tight shirts.
Yeah.
Like what everybody does when you. He's like, put you on a large shoe, boy. Put you on
And
an
fill it
extra
up.
large. He's like, try to grow into it. He's like, I used to do that,
Yeah.
so I did that, and it works. It actually
Yep. Put on a large and fill it up. Let's
fill
go.
it up.
Yeah.
So hey, that's awesome.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and close up shop. This is Circle Talk for the day. Thank you so much, Marquise. You're amazing.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being on my team. And we definitely got to get together and do something real soon.
Yeah.
Even if it's just you show me how to lift a couple weights. I mean, yeah.
Hey, I've seen you on Facebook. You're
Bro,
trying to do it. You're trying to do
I'm
it.
trying to get. I got to get back at it, man. I got all these runs that I have coming up summertime, and Lord knows I've been slacking. So I got to get back at it. So,
Yes.
So thanks again, bro. Thank
Yes,
you guys
sir.
so much for watching. It's been an amazing hour for Circle Talk. Watch out next week. I'm gonna be sitting down with my second cousin, my cousin's son, which makes him my second cousin, right?
Yes.
My cousin's son is my second cousin.
Second cousin.
Yeah. So I'll be sitting down with Gash, the rapper. We're gonna talk about his life, his journey. He just got a page in a magazine. I can't remember the name of it, but got a page in this magazine for his journey into rap, and and his music and how it's changing things down in Texas. So watch out for Gas the Rapper Last next week, next Sunday. I'll be sitting down with him. So thank you guys so much for being here. We are out. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. God bless you and happy Easter if I don't see you. Take care. Peace.